In this episode, you'll discover 3 drills to make your boat faster on the recovery and fix lack of balance issues.
Feel the grip of the oar handle, smooth yet firm in your hands. Taste the salt of your own sweat and the occasional splash of water. It's all part of the journey. Welcome to another episode of Faster Masters Rowing Radio. Each week, our host, Masters rowing coach Rebecca Caro, dives deep into the world of Masters rowing. Whether you're on the water or in the gym, join us to become a faster master. Let's go rowing.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Faster Masters Rowing Radio, where we are continuing our discussion series about how to use drills progressively in order to improve different parts of the stroke. This is the 3rd episode where we're discussing progressive drills for the recovery. We've previously done stroke power and we've previously done the catch. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, the recovery is the part of the stroke where your finesse really shows. This is where crew alignment, all doing the same thing at the same time. This is where blade work skills, actually your hands connecting to the handle and what you're doing with your hands, what you're doing with your bodies, that you're all doing the same thing at the same time. And the benefit of getting great recovery is that the boat slows down less. Now, that might not sound like an amazing thing to try and achieve, but trust me, if you're already fit and strong, this is where you will find the maximum gains in boat speed. Let me explain why. When you put the oar in the water at the catch and you push the water to the finish, you're taking the boat from its slowest, pushing the water, to pushing it to very nearly its fastest speed when you take the oar out of the water. Now, as you get onto the recovery, any tiny imbalance, an oar that drags on the surface, someone whose body weight is not moving in time with everybody else, anyone arriving a little late or a little early at different stages of the recovery, and of course, the placement of the blade at the catch at the moment when your seat changes direction. All of those little things incrementally serve to slow down your boat. So what happens with the speed curve of the boat is it rises up through the power phase and then it slowly drops down through the recovery. Now, if you can keep the same peak of acceleration in the power phase, but reduce the amount of slowing down so that the trough is less low, it's a little bit higher, your average speed of your boat, but comparing the recovery to the power, will be higher and you will go faster. So remember, even little things like a gust of wind, like steering, not going straight, a tiny little bit of mistiming with one oar going into the water before the other, all of those things slow your boat down. So today's drills are taking the same methodology that we've had in the previous episodes, where you take one drill, layer another one on top of it so that you're learning progressively, and then make it harder, and then take another step forward and make it harder again. Allows you to build up your skill, but secondly, it also allows crews of different abilities to row together so that you have an athlete who's more experienced can still get a lot out of doing the drill, as well as someone who's less experienced. Let's go to our first drill. I called this the skimming drill. This is where on the recovery, you let your oars run along the surface of the water. You take them out at the finish, feather them, and then just rest them on the surface. And this helps to teach you where the oar handle heights need to be relative to each other. The water is level. It's the same height on both sides of the boat. Therefore, your handles and the height of your handles reflect the correct height relative to the spoons which are resting on the surface. Now, this is the correct height in the power phase, because when your spoon is resting flat on the surface, if it's squared or if it's feathered, your handle will still be at the same height. So this helps to teach you how in the power phase to get your handles at the right height so that the blade doesn't go deep, doesn't go shallow, it's correctly positioned. If you're sculling, it also helps you to recognize the leftover right differential. I'm a great fan of nesting your hands so that your right hand, which is the lower side of your rigger, nests underneath your left hand so that the knuckles of your right hand touch here on the fleshy part of the base of your palm. Now, the other ways of rowing, instead of being nested, you have stacked, where your hands are directly one above the other. And you don't want to have your right hand in front of your left. You really do want to have the left hand in front of the right if you can. But some people choose to row stacked. If you're going to do that, you need to have a greater height differential on the oarlock, because approximately 1 to 2 centimeters height difference on the oarlock is sufficient for most athletes to row with stacked hands. But if I bring my hand back here and stack it rather than having it nested, it gets higher. Watch my knuckles. They rise up. And so you're going to need more height differential on the oarlocks in order that the boat sits level. Skimming helps you figure out exactly how to do that. It also helps you to check when you go through the 2 crossover points that your hands are correctly nested and that the boat stays level. Now, the progression part of this onto the recovery is after you've established that, how high should my hands be, and make the boat level, you then add progressively deeper tap down. So you tap down 1 centimeter so that your oars are just above the surface. So 1 centimeter tap down on your handle is about 3 centimeters for the oar spoon at the tip of the blade. So you'll be just above the water surface. Can you still keep the same movement? Can you keep the boat level? Can you continue to nest your hands and not have them way apart from each other with air between them, particularly at those crossover points? And then you progressively tap down to 2 centimeters and then 3 centimeters. One of the things that many people find particularly difficult is keeping their left hand higher than their right as they go from half slide to the catch, because it seems in your mind that your handle should be level at the catch, but they should not. Your left hand is always higher than your right. You're working on parallel overlapping circles. If you took a piece of string and attached it to the top of the pin above your oarlock and drew a circle, that's the arc that your handles are going to go through while you're rowing. And your left hand is going to stay the exact same height, slightly higher than your right throughout. So skimming is my first drill to help you get the boat level on the recovery and understand the impact your hands and your handle heights have on boat balance. Moving on from that, we go into the pauses drills. You probably all know these. You pause at hands away, you pause at hands away and bodies over. Maybe you pause at quarter slide, at half slide. I've incorporated an additional pause for a very advanced rowers, which is a pause at weight on the feet. In the Drills Compendium, which is a purchased product which we sell, it explains how to identify that point and why it is so critical to helping your boat slow down less on the recovery. But let's go back to building on our skimming drill. You've learned to keep your handles at the correct height on the recovery. Now can you check your body posture and obviously your hands at different progressive stages of the recovery? Can you all arrive at exactly the same time? Can you watch the elbow of the person in front to get your timing of your arm movements identical to theirs? Can you separate getting your arms straight from rocking your body forward, which is absolutely possible at low rates? So the pauses drill you will see the best rowers. I went to the Olympic Games in Paris this past summer, and they did these drills. We saw crews practicing after racing finished each day, and they were doing the exact same drills that I'm teaching you to do, because this is a real back to basics. Can I get this right? And our third drill is the reverse ratio drill. We used to laughingly call this schoolboy rowing drill because they used to rush up the slide and then go slowly through the water. And that is exactly what the drill is. The idea for this drill is to arrive at full compression at front stops with your knees high, your arms extended, and your blade already in the water. Can you time that movement so that the blade placement is before you change direction on the seat? And that's hard to do. The reverse ratio drill takes all of the pressure off, and it reverses the normal ratio, which is you want to go hard and strong through the water and then take twice or three times as long on the slide. We do this the opposite way around. So you go fast up the slide and then put your blade in the water and then let it drift. So you go 2 or 3 times longer through the water and then fast up the slide. And by reversing the ratio, yes, it is a little bit of a messing with my brain type drill, but it's trying to help you make your handle movements really fluid and to end your recovery with a placement into the water, so that you've got to go all the way up and get those blades in, while of course still keeping the boat level on the recovery. So you have to square early, and you have to separate the movement of lifting your hands from the movement of changing direction on the seat. So our 3 progressive drills for the recovery. Fun things for you to try out. If you buy our drills compendium, there are actually 24 drills in total. It's collection number 1 and collection number 2 bundled together. And we've also included 3 ebooks as free bonuses, which I think you'll enjoy. And they are also related to drills and particular ways of using them. So if you're a coach as well as a rower, I think you'll enjoy reading these and getting detailed explanations from Marlene Royal and myself, which we recorded as a podcast and made into an ebook with a lot of additional material, which will help you guide your own coaching practice. If you want to join the rest of the Faster Masters and get some news once a week, we have a newsletter which has over 7,000 people receiving weekly updates. We'd love you to join us. You'll get a lot of detail in it of fun things, diverse things, news things. Try it for a couple of weeks. If you don't like it, you can always unsubscribe. I look forward to seeing you next time.
We are part of the Rowing Chat Podcast Network. Please tell your fellow rowers about the show. If you've learned just one helpful thing from today's episode, please consider supporting the show for as little as $1 per month by visiting fastermastersrowing.com/podcast.